he said it is huge, quote, huge, the Dominion voting system story and that letter that came out of Michigan today, and also the very good decision from the Pennsylvania court. So he's going to exhaust every.
What were your recommendations?
My recommendation, I see it very simply. Look, strategy is the art of taking something complicated and boiling it down to the key things that you have to know. I see two paths forward. Number one is what Rudy and Pam Bondi and the whole team are doing, and that has to be exploited completely. Every single significant case of voter fraud that seems to be widespread must be investigated in all the key states, so that the legal recourse has to be taken all the way to a maximum effect. The second one, which I think is far more important, because Sean, he's got 31 days left. You know, it takes a year to actually get into some of these incredibly complicated cases. So my argument is the political one. Yeah. He has to get back to doing rallies, and he has to put pressure on those GOP state houses not to verify or to certify these elections, and not to choose the electors when there is rampant evidence of fraud. And then what happens? It's beautiful. It's called a contingent election. If you don't have 270 electoral votes, it goes to the House of Representatives by state party delegation, where we outnumber the Democrats and the president is reelected. That's my advice.
You know, a little fun fact for you. I was looking this up today. There's only 7 states so far that have actually certified their election results. It's interesting because the way you see it on television makes it seem like this is fait accompli. Not that it may or may not, but I'm just saying there's only 7 states that have actually done it. You know, you mentioned the rally, Seb. He tweeted out today that it was heartwarming to see all the tremendous support out there, especially the organic rallies that are springing up all over the country.
Wow. Do we feel good? Do we love America? And do we have Donald Trump's back? First things first, let's just be very clear. What happened on November the 3rd? Donald John Trump got more votes than any president in history. And a man who'd been in his basement for 9 months, quote unquote, beat him. Yeah, right. Let's just wind the clock back for a moment. What did they say about Donald Trump 5 years ago? Oh, he can't win. It's a joke. It's a stunt. He will never, ever win. And then what happened? The good Lord smiled on America once again. And Donald John Trump, the man who wasn't a politician, who wasn't from the swamp, defeated Hillary Clinton. And now, 4 years later, sleepy, creepy Beijing Biden gets less votes in Chicago, less votes in New York, and we're supposed to believe he won? And the mail-in ballots. Oh, isn't it interesting? In Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, the average number of rejected, spoiled mail-in ballots is 3 to 5%. This year, it's 0.5. How did that happen, I wonder? Now, I spoke to the president Thursday morning, and I want to send you a very clear message. This man has done more for this country than any president since Abraham Lincoln. This man has been pilloried. He's been libeled for 5 years. First they called him an Islamophobe, a misogynist, an anti-Semite, and then a white supremacist. And he still gets 10 million more votes. Why? Because you understand They have to take him down. Why? Because they don't own him. Not Big Pharma, not the oil industry, not defense manufacturing, not the unions. Nobody owns President Trump, and that's why they have to take him out. It started with my good friend, Mike Flynn. Mike Flynn, who is going to reform the intelligence community, and they framed him. And I've got a message for you, Attorney General Barr. You have failed America. You have failed your duty to the U.S. Constitution, and you have failed justice. We were told, oh, we can't publish anything before the election. The election was November 3rd, Bill Barr. Where the hell are you? Every single American is owed the truth about 2016. How they tried to steal the election with Russian propaganda information pumped through the DNC, Hillary's lawyers, and a former British MI6 agent. We want answers, and we want them now! So, the future. Here's the future, friends. Here's the future. The president told me he is not giving up. He is going to fight in every battleground state where we have seen rampant abuse. Yes, Fox News, there was cheating. And here is the path to victory. I want every single one of you to understand we can win because he did win, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We've got 28 days to make a legal case, and that's almost impossible. So, here's the path to victory. Our founding fathers were geniuses. This isn't a democracy. This is a republic of states. We don't let 51% of the American people dictate the lives of 49%. That's not how it works, AOC. Oh, and by the way, AOC, if you're making your enemies list, you can put me at the top. AOC, bring it, Buttercup. Because we are not afraid of any of you bloody snowflakes. And the only fascists in America are Antifa. And BLM is racist. I'm going to say it now. Every American life matters. So here's the plan. Nancy, the crone, the harridan failed. 15 Republican women have been elected to the Congress. 15 pro-life women. And not one state house was flipped, Nancy. How'd you like that? So, there is no president-elect. Oh, and by the way, Beijing Biden, I looked it up because I can read. There is a thing you call the office of the president-elect. It doesn't exist. Unlike the recordings of your son having sex with prostitutes while he's smoking a crack pipe, that exists. Unlike the emails about the big guy getting his 50% cut. We know who the big guy is, Beijing Biden. You are the most corrupt politician after Hillary. So, a lot of people want to speak. I'm going to give you the path to victory. The election has not been certified. The electors have not voted. We don't have democracy, we have a republic. We have to put the pressure on. I don't care where you're from. God bless all of you here today. But God bless all of you who are watching and listening. Wherever you live, you get on the streets, you get your MAGA hat on, and you send a message to the state senates, to the chief clerks, to the secretaries of state. If you certify a fraudulent election, you will never, ever get re-elected. We want them to understand the fury of American patriots. Less than 5% of America defeated the British Empire. Less than 5%. We don't want a war. They have normalized violence, but we will not let them steal our republic. And if you remember when Donald Trump won the election. Do you remember that day? It was a rally, I think, in Scranton, and he said to the crowd, "Hey, what's Crooked Hillary's slogan?" "Oh yeah, I'm with her." Do you know what mine is? "I'm with you." So this is up to you, my patriots, of all skin colors, of all backgrounds. This is up to you. You need to put the fear of God into every snake oil merchant, rhino establishment GOP politician. If you certify the election, you will never, ever get re-elected. And then what happens? Oh, those founding fathers were geniuses. If neither candidate gets 270 electoral college votes, then it is a contingent election. It goes to the House of Representatives. Oh, and here's the kicker, my friends. It's not the House representatives that elect the president. It is the states. The states by party delegation. And guess which side has the majority of party delegations? We do!
We, the 72 million Americans who voted to re-elect Donald J. Trump, do not forgive. We, the 72 million Americans who voted to re-elect Donald J. Trump, do not forget. We, the 2 million Americans who voted to re-elect Donald J. Trump, do not surrender. We, the 72 million Americans who voted to re-elect Donald J. Trump, reject the fake olive branches of former Vice President Joe Biden. Listen to his hollow attempt to bury the hatchet.
It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric, lower the temperature, see each other again, listen to each other again. And to make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies. They are not our enemies. They are Americans. They're Americans. The Bible tells us, to everything there is a season, a time to build, a time to reap, and a time to sow, and a time to heal. This is the time to heal in America.
He wants to lower the temperature? Really? Tell that to the flag-burning, window-breaking, traffic-obstructing, cop-hating lunatics that Biden has never disavowed. How do you heal when abolish ICE and Antifa goons demand that our country be canceled? How do you heal when Never Trump witches openly call for burning down the America First movement and crushing Trump's populist supporters?
What we should be doing is shunning these people. Shunning, shaming these people is a statement of moral indignation that these people are not fit for polite society. It's not only that Trump has to lose, but that all his enablers have to lose. We have to collectively, in essence, burn down the Republican Party. We have to level them, because if there are survivors, if there are people who weathered this storm, they will do it again. They will take this as confirmation that, hey, it just pays to ride the waves. Look at me, I've made it through.
How do you heal with miserable, unhinged feminists blowing out our eardrums every day.
People in history
How do you heal when Biden's rage-filled mob incites violence against our president and his supporters with impunity online and on the streets? Biden now says it's time to heal. I call bull. This corrupt career politician and his mob-coddling party seek to disarm us, to debase us, and to destroy us. Biden now declares that to make progress, we must stop treating our opponents as our enemy. That is the definition of fake truce. With all due respect, Joe Biden can take his faux olive branch and shove it. Until there's election justice, this is not the time for phony peace. Every legal vote must be counted, every illegal vote thrown out, every claim of disenfranchisement and poll observer obstruction must be vetted, every lawsuit must be heard. Anything less than that amounts to exactly the kind of coup undermining the peaceful transition of power that anti-Trump forces falsely accused our president of perpetrating. We, the 72 million Americans who voted to re-elect Donald J. Trump, resist the media Silicon Valley coronation of Biden-Harris. We, the 72 million Americans who voted to re-elect Donald J. Trump, do not relent. We, the 72 million Americans who voted to re-elect Donald J. Trump, do not yield. And we, the 72 million Americans who voted to re-elect Donald J. Trump, do not concede.
Are we going to win? Yes! We have only begun.
Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And I have a graphic showing the states where they stopped counting. Which I thought was also strange to stop counting in the middle of election night. One source says that the key point to understand is that the Smartmatic system has a back door that allows it to be, that allows the votes to be mirrored and monitored, allowing an intervening party a real-time understanding of how many votes will be needed to gain an electoral advantage. Are you saying the states that use that software did that?
Well, I know, I can prove that they did it in Michigan. I can prove it with witnesses. We're investigating the rest. In every one of those states, though, we have more than enough illegal ballots already documented to overturn the result in that state. Because not only did they use a Venezuelan company to count our ballots, which almost should be illegal per se. Number two, they didn't allow Republicans in key places to observe the mail vote. That makes the mail vote completely invalid. Now, they didn't do it everywhere. They did it in big cities where they have corrupt machines that will protect them, meaning in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh, in Detroit. They didn't have to do it in Chicago, in New York, or Boston. They could have. They have corrupt machines there. They did it absolutely in Phoenix, Arizona. They did it absolutely in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Republicans were shut out from enough of the count so they could accomplish what Smartmatic wanted to do. And that pattern that you have there, we have evidence that that's the same pattern Smartmatic used in other elections in which they were disqualified. In other words, this is their pattern of activity. And yes, there is a backdoor, and we actually have proof of some of the connections to it. Right now, our cases are the most developed in Pennsylvania and in Michigan. But we already have enough affidavits from people who were pushed out of being able to observe. So in each one of the states that he lost narrowly, he won those states probably by 2 or 3%. I mean, it's
Rudy,
a terrible, terrible thing that happened
before we go. Do you have the Dominion hardware in your possession? Do you need to have that hardware in your possession to prove it? Can you prove the case without the hardware or the software?
We have people that I can't really disclose that can describe the hardware in great detail. We have some of the people, former government employees, our government employees and others that were there at the creation of Smartmatic. They can describe it, they can draw it, they can show it. And then we have proof that I can't disclose yet. But I'm confident,
Go ahead.
And this has to be examined, Maria, beyond this election, which I believe will get overturned. But beyond this election, this whole thing has to be investigated as a national security matter.
We got things that'll keep us alive, and we know the Lord, He's a friend of mine. We all see what you're trying to pull. Don't think we can't see through that bull, and we ain't gonna take it and let it slide. There's 41 and 42 didn't do, and 43 wasn't none to see. 44, we don't say no more. Sold our country out the back door. Thank God for a 45. You just can't stop the power of a 45. He's been fighting all by himself, left his comfort and his will to make America great again. And I'm not gonna just sit on by, not gonna let another day go by without supporting him. 'Cause 41 and 42 didn't do, 43 wasn't nothing to see, and 44 we don't say no more. Sold our country out the back door. Thank God for a 45. You just can't stop the power of a 45. 41 and 42 didn't do, 43 wasn't nothing to see, 44 we don't say no more. Sold out